What's going on, everybody? Doug here, one of the host, producers, and creators of the Genre Review Life podcast, here with a review roundup episode, a double feature review roundup episode for you all this week. We have a ton of episodes for you all this week. Bear with us. I am behind on my Devil Wears Prada 2 review, among some other things, TV, streaming, stuff like that. No full episode of the podcast this week. A busy week with screenings and work schedule, so bear with us. The guys, I'll be back next week with a full episode of the podcast. You know why? Because we have not done our annual summer movie preview season episode for you all. We do it every year, but we've been so busy with screenings. We are full in the thick of summer movie season, the best season if you ask me. And of course, work schedules too. All three are working too. I've had a busy week with work, a little overtime. So hopefully have a lot more episodes for you all end of this week, hopefully next week too. So bear with us. Just work schedules on the way, and there's a lot of movies to catch up on. So bear with us and have those notifications ready for all things podcast related for us. But of course, hope you're having a great week. Hopefully your month of May starting off very, very well. Oh man, guys, I can't believe it's already here. Summer movie season. We're just kicking off. I think it's going to be a great summer of the movies. I think really the past couple of years, I think have gotten better and better. I think, once we were out of, COVID, I think we're seeing this really a resurgence at the box office this year especially. But I think, 2023 kind of was saved by the whole Barbenheimer thing, and 2024 I think started off kind of rough, but I think definitely ended on a high note. I think last year was great, and this year we have a lot. We have a lot of things to look forward to, so stay tuned for all things coverage, reviews, and reactions. But of course, you can find this podcast on your favorite podcast platform, where it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and or your favorite podcast platform of choice. Also have our full video element of our show on our YouTube page, youtube.com/Midway Avenue Productions. We are 5 subs away, y'all. We're at 995, 5 subs away from 1,000, y'all. That's huge for us, for monetization, part of the YouTube content creator program, as well as get more coverage for screenings and festivals and interviews, coverage, you name it. So really, when we emphasize how important it is, this is super important to us. So again, 5 subs, y'all. 5 subs. We're almost there. Please help us, help you. It'll be amazing. Trust me, we are geeking out about this. A lot of hard work has gone into this podcast and the YouTube channel. So, and you all being such a huge part of it means the world to us. So please help us get there. 5 subs away. We see you commenting. We see you reviewing. You see you rating. That means the world to us. 5 subs. We can do this. It's going to be a great way to kind of kick off this summer blockbuster movie season. And of course, we also have our ongoing podcast goal, Apple Podcast goal of 200 Apple Podcast ratings. Why Apple Podcasts? It's a great question, actually, because Apple Podcast seems to be the heart and soul, almost the nucleus of entertainment podcasting nowadays. So since a lot of analytics on our end are hidden, but only we can see, number of subscribers and listeners, stuff like that. However, ratings and reviews are public, and a lot of publicists, a lot of outlets, a lot of PR companies tend to see those for kind of just analytic purposes and seeing who they let in on their list and more coverage. So again, when we really emphasize how important it is, we really emphasize how important it is for our Apple Podcast listeners. We love you, Spotify listeners. We love you, Amazon listeners. We love Pandora, iHeartRadio, whatever. RSS, it means the world to us, seriously. But Apple Podcast seems to be a huge deal. So again, rate, review, subscribe, shares with your friend, family friend, movie friends, whatever, janitor, shrink, therapist, teacher, professor, doesn't matter, neighbor. It really means a lot to us. So again, share us with everyone who loves movies and entertainment, because it will really mean a lot to us. So thank you all so much for tuning in, and thank you all so much for your ongoing support. Like always on these double feature review run-up episodes, I have 2 completely different movies. I'm laughing because, again, this one especially, 2 really, really, really different movies to review for you all. And I have my reviews of The Sheep Detectives and Mortal Kombat 2. You're probably thinking, I'm oh my gosh, how different can this be? Trust me, this is one of probably the most different review episodes you'll hear from me in a while. But let's get into it, shall we? Again, of course, going in order how I saw them. And I saw The Sheep Detectives on Saturday at the screening, which again, most of these, family screenings, family-friendly movies happen usually either. It's mostly on the weekends. There's some like during the week, whatever. But I haven't gone to one of these in a long time. So it was Saturday a.m., 10 a.m. Got up early, went down there. Actually locked the keys in my car because I was kind of late actually. I was in a rush. So shout out to Nino and his amazing husband Cloud for helping me get home after the screening because I had a spare key in my car. It's my spare keys in my apartment. So man, that was quite a morning. But you know what? I'm glad the movie was good because it's a different story. That would have been the whole thing. But again, let's get into the Sheep Detectives. I'll be honest with you all, this movie wasn't really on my radar for up until a week ago. I know we had the email invite for us from our the PR team we work with, Amazon, MGM, and our publicist. So we were like, all right, like what is this movie? And you know, I like Hugh Jackman. I was seeing a few different, you know, like trailers for it, and I was like, what is this? And I was like, I don't know. It was kind of silly. What is this? Knives Out with sheep? Come on now. Like, what are we doing here? And then I was hearing like, yo, this movie's great. This movie's really funny. And I was like, really? Like a murder mystery with sheep? Like for families? Like I don't know. I don't know about that. But again, you know what? I gotta give it a try. But if you don't know the Sheep Detectives, George Hardy is a shepherd who George Hardy is a shepherd who loves to read murder mysteries to his sheep, never suspecting that they can understand him. When George is found dead under mysterious circumstances, the sheep decide to solve the crime themselves, even if it means leaving their meadow for the first time and facing the fact that the human world isn't as simple as it appears in books. I was thoroughly and surprisingly caught off guard of this movie, of how much I enjoy this movie. I had no idea that a movie about talking sheep detectives would get me this emotional, but man, here we are. Really though, the best way to put this movie is, no doubt about it, this movie really is, you take Knives Out, everything you love about Knives Out, and mix it with Chicken Run, but if Chicken Run was live action and with sheep. That really is the best pitch for this movie, because you know I grew up watching Chicken Run. I love that movie. It's a big part of like my childhood, my upbringing, a reason why I love stop motion animation, the Aardman movies, especially that movie and Flushed Away. I think Wallace and Gromit too, but really though Chicken Run was a big part of my life. And so this movie, I was watching it, I'm like, this is Chicken Run with sheep and live action. really much so. Yes, the sheep are CGI. I think there was some puppet work in this, whatever. But really, though, it is legit a mix. And again, Knives Out is so popular now. It's Knives Out and Chicken Run. So if you like those two things, you're in for a treat. But this movie is very adorable. It's super emotional. It's very funny. And really, though, there was a couple times where I was getting a little misty-eyed because, like, I don't know why some of these sheep run by my dog Blue or my other dogs, Addison and Brixton and Brindley, where I'm like, oh man, like I miss my dogs. And I don't know really why this got to me, but I was like, oh, okay. But you know, I really like being surprised in movies or being caught off guard in movies, because you know I say this all the time, but like, you know, I try to go in movies with an open mind, you know, kind of like give it a fair chance. And I've been proven. I love being proven wrong about anything. I mean, especially movies, but almost about anything. So I think back to like movies like was it Spider-Man: Homecoming, where I was like, this movie's gonna be trash. It's gonna be garbage. What are you doing? And I was like, walked out like, I love this movie. And it happens quite a bit actually nowadays, where I'm like, oh whoa, I was kind of caught off guard, and I was like, I kind of went in with lower to no expectations, and walking out, I'm like, that was great. So again, I love that feeling walking out of like, damn, I was proven wrong, and I'm all for it. And really though, the acting in this, both the casting in this, the human acting and the voice acting in this is across the board delightful. You know, Hugh Jackman, this might be a minor spoiler, and I apologize because in the trailer, he's not in it as much because he's the character that gets murdered in this movie. And I gotta give Hugh Jackman a lot of props that, like, you know, a lot of leading actors, a lot of like, you know, big stars like him would be like, I'm only for 15 minutes and a few flashbacks, pass, I'm good, I'm too good for this. But I gotta respect the fact that, you know, Hugh Jackman like said, hey, I'll do a few scenes, and he was probably filming this in between, I don't know, maybe like maybe Deadpool Wolverine or something big, whatever. I'm trying to think what else he did recently, but he applied this kind of like on his downtime. We had a week or 2 weeks or maybe a few days to spare on shoot on location. And I love that because again, it shows kind of just like, hey, as an actor, he's willing to kind of like take the back seat in movies like this, and he's totally cool with it. And obviously, everyone has heard like Hugh Jackman's like the sweetest person in the world. So again, props to him. But everyone in this movie, Emma Thompson, Nicholas Braun, I think Nicholas Galitzine is his name. Who's going to be the new He-Man, also in that Harry, quote unquote, Harry Styles One Direction fan fiction movie with him and Anne Hathaway called The Idea of You. Again, Nicholas Braun, Molly Gordon. This is just the live action acting. Hong Chow, who I'm liking a lot more recently in movies. I'm also blanking on a few actors' names that I'm trying to get. Remember in this? No. This is the only Nicholas Braun. Coneth Hill was funny. I'm also blanking on this guy's name. Something in the house. No, different guy. Where is the guy's name? Tosin Cole, who was in the House Party remake, which wasn't the best movie, but I thought he was kind of decent in it. And Kobna Holdbrook Smith. I like that it was a mix of, that's right, Doctor Strange. That's what I knew him from. Anyway, it's a mix of actors you do know, like, oh, that's so and so, and then some you're like, oh, who's that again? And I like kind of the mix of that. And honestly, like in terms of the live action the human acting, Nicholas Braun, man, is a scene stealer. He plays kind of like this bumbling, local, the only cop in this small town, and I think they're in like upstate England. I want to say, I forgot where exactly, but like, or upstate Scotland. And honestly, when a lot of American actors, they can either pull off an accent really well or not so well. I think a lot of the Brits and the Aussies and other actors, I think, have this kind of beat when it comes to, I feel like, with nailing the American accent, whatever. But Nicholas Braun, I thought his British accent was pretty good. And this is someone who was in London for 6 months, so I thought his British accent was really believable. When it comes to the sheep and the voice acting, man oh man, Patrick Stewart, Brett Goldstein, Regina Hall, Chris O'Dowd, Riz Darby, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Bryan Cranston. The voice acting in this is perfect. I mean, watching it, I was like, hey, who's that? Oh, that sounds like Bella Ramsey, who's in the Last of Us series. I mean, hearing it, I was like, oh, it's Patrick Stewart. That's Regina Hall. That's Chris O'Dowd. That's definitely Brett Goldstein. Julia Louis-Dreyfus at first, I was like, is that Julia Roberts? And I was like, no, that's Elaine from Seinfeld. That's Julia Louis-Dreyfus. And Bryan Cranston, of course, I remember him being one of the voices in Isle of Dogs. I'm like, that's Bryan Cranston. And Riz Darby, who also I like from obviously Yes Man, and Chris O'Dowd, I think is a really underrated actor. I was like, oh, this is so and so. And I just think the voice acting this is perfect. It really is. And like they made they let the American actors keep their American accents, I guess, for to play sheep. But it was great. It really worked. And the voice acting is very delightful. It's very whimsical. It's very witty. And at first I thought the CG on the sheep. Well, at first I was like, ooh. I was like, I don't know, I'm gonna like this the first 10 minutes. I was like, this is kind of rough. Like, this doesn't look that great. And I thought overall the CG on the sheep was pretty believable as the movie progresses. But at first I was like, ooh, no. Like, this is what it's gonna look like. I don't know if I like this or not. I don't know. But it worked. It won me over as the movie progressed, and it looked better. And the way they kind of made these sheep look like, really like have these like humanistic expressions, you're like, okay, that's kind of funny actually. But really though, I've been also more into murder mystery movies the past couple of years. I think Knives Out in 2019 definitely kind of like kicked that off, where I was like, okay, I'm definitely into this more. But some of the sheep design's kind of funny, and the actors playing, you're like, oh, Regina Hall's playing like kind of like the diva one or whatever, and you see Chris O'Dowd kind of playing the kind of like goofy one. You're like, okay, this makes sense. And Patrick Stewart's playing the old raggedy one, or Riz Darby's playing kind of the one with the long hair on his eyes. It's kind of like, okay, this kind of works. And even like the baby sheep too were really cute, and I was like, kind of reminded me of my dogs. I'm like, oh, I miss my dogs. But it's sweet. And also the movie, I think also, for a murder mystery, like for a PG, family movie, it's a little dark. I'll give that much. But I think everyone's having a great time with this movie. I think everyone's kind of like really like enjoying themselves. You can tell, like, again, Nicholas Galitz's having a good time. Hong Chow, Molly Gordon, Emma Thompson, everyone is like really enjoying this kind of like witty and whimsical and kind of like cute and delightful movie. You're like, oh yeah, they're having a good time with this. And I think that kind of definitely translate to us, the audience, when we watch it as well. Is it gonna like change the game when it comes to like murder mysteries? No, not at all. Not at all. I think Knives Out did that pretty damn well, if you ask me. But honestly, this movie really is perfect for the entire family. I think you take anyone from younger kids to teenagers to adults, grandparents, you name it. I think there's something in this movie for everyone. And again, I was like, kind of going in, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be like, this is gonna be kind of like it's made for kids. It's gonna be kind of just like, all right, like here comes the law. Look at the kid, like kind of like the like, like in your face jokes that are so like apparent, like, oh, here we go, one of these. But actually, there was some clever stuff here and there. There was a few jokes actually had me laughing out loud. I think I was the only person laughing out loud in certain jokes, and I was like, just me, y'all. Okay, for sure, cool. So again, surprising, this movie definitely won me over. It has a lot of heart. Also, I love movies that have a lot of heart. It kept me guessing too. I was like, who could it be? I had a suspicion of someone later on, and I was like, oh, maybe it is him. And I was like, oh, okay. But it kept me engaged. It kept me really kind of like interested in this whole like dynamic of like who was it, whatever. And also the heart of it too is also a movie about I love the pro animal message behind this movie. I thought Hoppers from Disney and Pixar a few months ago did the same thing. The movie was really kind of like animal life, animal preservation, and I like that. Hugh Jackman was very pro, like, these are my animals, I'm gonna keep them, protect them, I'm not gonna have them butchered or whatever. And there's a subplot that was kind of a little like far-fetched about like a sheep kind of like medical program that when you see it, you'll know. But I was kind of like, did we really need that? I guess it kind of added to the plot of a certain thing that when you see you'll know. But I did love the whole, as someone who's a big animal person, I definitely love the whole like pro animal life kind of message behind it too, and the stance behind it. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. Also, I like the whole it's about family, and like kind of just really like sticking to like putting your foot down, like, hey, like, I'm gonna stand by this. And I love movies like that too. So again, it's perfect for the entire family. It's good for Mother's Day weekend. I do think this movie, and as much as I'm surprisingly much I enjoyed this movie, I do think that this movie also could have been a streaming movie too. Not to like the quality in this was whatever, but I'm kind of surprised a film like this that should have been made for streaming, going to the theaters. I'm happy about that, don't get me wrong, but I don't know how much of an appeal it's going to have for the general audience and families, where I feel like, unfortunately, unless you're like, again, like Super Mario or trying to think, K-pop Demon Hunters was an anomaly because it was like Netflix first, then it was to theaters. But stuff like Minions, Despicable Me, and a few things here and there, like those seem to be the family movies that are kind of like really bringing audiences in, and family audiences in. Because I know growing up, like a movie like this that had good reviews and kind of like a decent star-studded cast would have done like maybe like 30 mil, give or take, a little bit more or less, whatever. But I just feel like families aren't going back to the movies the way they used to, maybe because of the price, maybe because of the programming that you'll see. But I hope this movie definitely does have a crowd. I don't know. I want to see how much the Sheep Detectives. There's also a book too. There's also a book. It was Ireland. It was Ireland in the book. Budget. 75 mil. Yeah, CGI heavy. That makes sense. I don't know really. Yeah, the movie needs to gross $128.6 million. That's a pretty high budget for this movie. I think it's because of the CGI. Also, I love they shot on location. Again, you'll probably hear me a lot recently in our reactions and reviews. I'm like, this is really pro movies that shoot on location, and I'm glad the movie shot on location. But 75 mil, and then marketing, you're on the 75 mil. That's a lot. That's a lot of money. I don't know how you're gonna recoup that, but I hope there's a decent enough return on this. But again, as someone who, and we're so pro theatrical on this podcast, as you already know, if you're new to the podcast, we are pro theatrical. Listen, we'll still watch streaming movies, we'll respect it, but like we're very movie theaters first, of course. So I don't know. This could have been. I could have seen the appeal on Amazon Prime for this movie. This is produced by Amazon MGM, and I do love. I mean, Amazon MGM. Trust me, I am so behind you all because you're doing this commitment to theatrical, and I really envy you. I support you, and I support you 100%. But I'm hoping that, and summertime too with this one. I don't know if this was the best release time for this movie. Maybe Easter would have been a bit better, but I think Super Mario was still pretty prominent around that time. Yeah, it was actually. So it's tough. That's tough. But I'm looking forward to seeing how this does at the box office. I hope it does decently well. But yeah, I'd give this movie really a solid 8 out of 10. I'm kind of like laughing how much like I give this movie really the high praise, but the more I thought about it, I was like, this is really cute, and it hit me in the feels, and a movie that can, if I connect to a movie and an emotional attachment to, I really will give you a lot of props in the world. And again, the reminders of Chicken Run, big part of movies that I love, as well as again, Knives Out, a movie I love a lot. The first one at least I love a lot. So it works, and I'm really hoping there's going to be a word of mouth of this, or this becomes a cult classic. But it's one of those rare movies nowadays that is perfect for the whole family. So I would recommend this movie for sure. See it in theaters actually too, if you can. You have the time, the money, resources for sure. But yeah, this movie definitely gets an 8 out of 10. Moving on to a not so family friendly, but if your family's in this kind of stuff, hey, more power to you. Mortal Kombat 2, or finish him and get over here. And that's all the lingo I know about Mortal Kombat. I'll start off in the synopsis. In Mortal Kombat 2, this is the sequel to the 2021 reboot remake a couple years ago that was made for day and day on HBO Max and then in theaters. I actually just watched the first one on Sunday. Friend of the show, Nino, who we love dearly, was really cool enough to bring me as his plus one last night to the press screening, and I was like, you know what? Invited me on Saturday, did my homework on Sunday. I watched the first one on HBO Max. That was kind of fun. Kind of corny, but I like what I saw. And this one, I remember this was coming out back in like October, and I don't know why was it delayed. Yeah, okay. So I think the movie was moved from October to from fall 2025 to May. Because I think the movie also was. I think it also was like, hey, they want to maximize on box office potential. Like, I think this summer, their big movies this summer are definitely Supergirl. What else is coming out? WB 2026. Because Dune comes out. Show looks like. Their summer not so much. Looks like it's just. Wow. So Mortal Kombat 2, because last year they had Superman and F1 would just kill the box office. So hey, something else too, I'm blanking on it. And Weapons was there too. Oh my gosh. So they had a huge summer last year. So Mummy was spring, Mortal Kombat 2, and then Supergirl, and then Cutoff was supposed to come out from Jonah Hill, but that got pushed back. Probably because Outcome was a pretty bad movie. Wink, wink. Sorry, Jonah Hill. So it looks like End of Oak Street, Evil Dead Burn, Supergirl, and Mortal Kombat 2. So, yeah, okay, strategy wise, yeah, definitely, I get it. I think that's smart moving on the box office. How it does this weekend, we'll see. But anyway, Mortal Kombat 2. Johnny Cage joins other fighters in the ultimate no-hands-bared battle to defeat the dark rule of Shao Kahn, a powerful tyrant who threatens the very existence of the Earth realm and its defenders. Again, I just watched the first one the other day. Let me preface this thing again. I just watched the 2021 movie a couple days ago. I liked it, thought it was fun. I would not call myself a Mortal Kombat fan. I have played it casually over the years. The arcade version, the ones on the original Xbox 360, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, whatever. So I played games over the years as a casual fan. I would not call myself a Mortal Kombat fan. So I know there's a die-hard amount of you all out there. I love the passion. I love the respect you have for the franchise and the games. So again, take this review as someone who's a slightly casual fan who just watched the first one the other day. I gotta be honest, this movie is 2 hours of non-stop action, brutal action fight sequences with quippy one-liners, a little corny one-liners and comebacks and quips, whatever. Don't get me wrong, kind of like some of the games that have, fatality or finish him, whatever, stuff like that. So, flawless victory, whatever. This movie has a lot of that. When it comes to story, I think the story was better in the first movie, and I'm really glad I watched the first one the day before seeing this one, so I was kind of like prepped and ready to go. The first one I thought had a better story, maybe a bit of a balance of story and action fight sequences. This one goes boom, 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 boom. Like it is 2 hours of just nonstop boom, 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 boom fight sequences. So if you want to see again, if you want to see 2 hours of just badass fight, grotesque, grisly, gory fight sequences, and with again, really kind of like again corny but funny one-liners, this is the movie for you. And this movie is also an early contender of the goriest, brutal, grisliest, and gruesome movie of the summer movie blockbuster season. And I'm standing by that now. It's only May 6th as I record this. We got a lot of movies left, but this movie really is brutal. And again, as someone who loves action movies and all the brutality of action movies and the gruesomeness of action movies, this was for sure up my alley. I think, really, though, as much as I love the Katana storyline in this movie and seeing some of the returning actors from the first movie, my man, I mean, the actress playing Katana in this really is a badass. And her story, I liked how they definitely made her one of the central arcs of the movie, because in the movie starts off with her as a little child, as a little girl, and kind of seeing her arc throughout. But with all due respect, this movie is my man, Carl Urban as Johnny Cage. And obviously I know Johnny Cage a little bit from the games, a little bit kind of like how he's a beloved character, and I loved all the trailers that they showed with Carl Urban as Johnny Cage in these all the trailers featuring Carl Urban as Johnny Cage, and I was like, man, this is really good casting. Also, I'm a massive Carl Urban fan, from him as Bones in Star Trek, Red, Dredd. Not a fan of Dredd as much, but I do like him as Dredd. Of course, Billy Butcher as the boys. Even his little stint in Thor Ragnarok, which also I'm not a huge fan of, but I really like Carl Urban a lot. And man, he owns this role. He is like the ultimate champion of this movie, and he just steals every scene. Has some of the funniest dialogue, some of the funniest one-liners and quips and returns, and he kicks all kinds of ass. And also, too, it's a kind of a classic, fish out of water story. Like, you get this guy who's an actor who has really no powers, and he's like, I'm supposed to do what now? He gets his ass beat like right away. So you're like, okay, cool. It's not a total badass off the rip. He's a washed up has-been actor. He's kind of playing like a Bruce Willis type of action star in this pretty well. And I was like, there was some like mannerism, the way he talked, where I was like, is he trying to play Bruce Willis or a version of Bruce Willis? If you see the movie, let me know what you think. I was like, this is kind of very Bruce Willis-y, whatever. But man, when he was on screen, I thought I was having so much fun watching him. And he has a lot of funny one-liners where I was like, yeah, this is working for me. And again, I did like seeing a lot of the returning cast in this, whether it's, I'm trying to think on actor's name, whether Jessica Manemi, who's like Sonya Blade, who Louis Tan plays Ko Young, Hiroki Sanada, who I'm a huge fan of as an actor as well, as Hanzo Hashi, I think it was Scorpion. He's back in this. Actor plays Sub-Zero, Johannes Salim, I'm probably butchering his name too, and I apologize. I did really like a lot of the supporting the returning cast in this. Josh Lawson as Kano is back in this. Makad Brooks, who I like a lot, as Jax, also back in this. I thought he was definitely my favorite part of the first movie. I'm trying to think who else came back from this movie too. Was Chin Han in this? Yeah, Chin Han was in this last one as well. I'm trying to think who else came back. Yeah, Max Huang came back in this one as well. I'm trying to think off like who else came back where I was like, yeah. Was it Liu Kang came back? Yeah, Liu Kang, yep. Ludi Lin also, I thought it was really I think definitely a scene stealer in this one as well. And the first one came back in this. Again, so I think the supporting cast really comes back definitely kind of like, hasn't missed a beat, whatever. And like I said, the movie really though is I think, and from what I'm hearing from friends and colleagues who love Mortal Kombat, a lot of them are saying this is a pretty faithful adaptation and kind of faithful to the game. So there's a lot of I think callbacks and Easter eggs that, when we saw it in the screening last night, a lot of people were in cosplay and I love that too. People who are just so passionate about stuff like this makes my heart happy. And from people's reactions and certain things, I was like, oh man, like people are really reacting to this movie in a positive way. People were cheering, people were clapping, people were laughing, and I was like, wow, this movie really seems to be hitting all the right notes for diehard Mortal Kombat fans. So hey, if it serves them well, I like that a lot. I did like the movie. Definitely, I think it is very CGI heavy, very VFX heavy, but I did like some of the production design, some of the sets that were actually built, and when they used practical effects, you can definitely tell. Again, even though it was really heavy, more leaning on CG and VFX, but I did appreciate when they used practical effects or whatever too. Like I said, though, there's not a lot of story to this movie. I gotta be honest, and I was watching it too. I was talking to Nino. I was like, okay, this movie definitely just wanted to be a kind of nonstop, brutal, gory action movie with some like really like Mortal Kombat-esque fight sequences, but it definitely lacks in story. Again, I think the first one had a better balance of story and fighting. But I had a lot of fun with this movie. I really did. It's a really kind of those like, again, really kind of like fun popcorn summer blockbusters I grew up watching from when I was a kid, when I was a teenager, even now in college. And I was an adult where I'm like, cool, we can still have fun in the movies over the summer. And I think summer blockbusters really, I don't mind kind of like deep and kind of like movies with, messages, whatever. And sometimes I get that. But really though, like I do just, when I sit down and watch a movie like F1 or Top Gun Maverick or a movie like this, or I think last year too, what was the other one last year? Superman, in years before, The Fall Guy, Furiosa, whatever, Bad Boys for Life. It's like, sorry, Bad Boys Ride or Die is the fourth one. Should have been the fourth one. It should have been For Life. But I sit back and I'm like, I feel like a kid again. I feel like, oh man, like getting a big popcorn with a crowd, AC blasting, and when you're hot outside, you're like, man, it gives kind of like a sense of nostalgia when I was like growing up, going with my parents when I was a kid in summertime, or my friends and I after our summer jobs or whatever, going to the movies, having a good time, watching kind of like an action bombastic movie. So it was like, I don't know, I get a very sweet feeling when it comes to that. So this movie's not sweet. This movie is very, again, brutal. But again, as a non-Mortal Kombat fan, not a Mortal Kombat player, I was kind of following along. Again, I'm glad. Again, I said I am glad I watched the first one. So I had a good time with this movie. And again, I laughed a lot. Some of the jokes were kind of funny, especially between Carl Urban's character as Johnny Cage, as well as what's the guy's name? I just mentioned him too a few minutes ago. Josh Lawson as Kano, where like there was some really funny lines where I'm like, that was pretty funny too. So I think if you're a Mortal Kombat fan, you're in for a treat. And I think if you just like, again, sit back, popcorn flick with some really cool action sequences, some really, like I said, bombastic and brutal action sequences, I think you're in a good time. So I give this movie really a solid 7 out of 10. And, I think I'll definitely be playing some Mortal Kombat games, probably this summer. And I don't know, I said something in my reaction too. I was like, for some reason, this movie made me want to get to a fight. And I don't know why, if that's a good thing or not, but it just did. So take that what you will. But yeah, I had a fun time with this movie. Yeah, the villain is like, I want world domination. I want to like beat everyone. I'm super tough. And a guy named Martin Ford, who's a big dude. That's a big guy. And he plays Shao Kahn? Yeah, Shao Kahn, the villain. Also has this also like what is it like almost like a Shredder from Ninja Turtles helmet to it. I'm like, would this be a ripoff of Ninja Turtles, whatever? But I guess it's part of the game. But again, I had a fun movie, playing some of the games. So again, but really though, Johnny Cage, Carl Urban, man, steals this movie. And I love seeing Carl Urban and stuff like this. So check it out again. And I'm really looking. If you're a Mortal Kombat fan, listen to this podcast. Let us know in the comment section below on YouTube or the review section or rating section on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I want to hear from you guys because again, it seems like people I talked to last night at the screening that were Mortal Kombat fans were very pleased. And right now it has a 74% on Rotten Tomatoes. I think the first one has like a 56, 51. So it seems like more people are liking this one more than the first one. So I'm intrigued, and there'd probably be a third one for sure. Again, I can't confirm that, but the first one I think it did moderately pretty well for having a day-to-day release. Also, it was April of 2021. We were still in COVID, and vaccinations were still being rolled out. So they make a third one, yeah, I'll watch it. And this one, I had a lot of fun with it. Again, summer popcorn flick. Alrighty, y'all. That is this week's review roundup episode. Hopefully the first of many. Like I said, I have filmed my reaction for Devil Wears Prada 2. I'm trying to see a few movies this weekend that are coming out. What else is coming out this weekend in movies? I wanted to check out. It was called Lee Cronin's The Mummy, but apparently it didn't do that well, so it got pulled out already. I'll probably go see Billie Eilish's concert movie. Actually, I'm a fan of her now, actually, and seeing what James Cameron does intrigues me. Do you guys see Hokum as well? Hokum was one that I missed at South by just because it was really busy South by this year. So it may just be a single review roundup episode, or unless there's a streaming movie that I have not caught up with. So I usually like to do 2 for these reactions and these reviews. So stay tuned for that. But hope you're all having a great month of May so far. Y'all, we're here. Summer movie season. Go to the movies. There's a lot, and I mean a lot. So prepare yourselves. I think we have next week Obsession, which you guys see Obsession. Listen to our review and our reactions, of course. And I think after that we have Mandalorian Grogu, which is in a couple of weeks, and we are full speed, we're on full speed right now. So again, we are here, we're in it. Time to celebrate. Go to the movie. Get a big icy. Get a big popcorn. Get a big drink. You deserve it. You treat yourself. But more importantly, as always, y'all, we will see you all at the movies.